you are going to come under some pressure. You're going to hear all kinds of propaganda. You're going to hear all kinds of lies and deception. There will be tactics used to try and buy you out. There will be tactics used to try and frighten you away. And I only have to say one thing to you tonight, comrades. We are blood and fire comrades. And we're marching on to progress. And we will stand firm. We will not be bought because we are not for sale.
Where is Uncle Byron? You can't hear me melting pot?
No, not seeing or hearing him. Might be having a
What,
few
what,
technical difficulties.
maybe, maybe.
But we can go and talk to the people in the meantime, you know. Yeah, let them know where I go and see them here with the greetings and the blessings.
Right? Are you hearing me? Melting
I'm
pot?
hearing you. I'm hearing
Okay.
you.
Alright, so Sunday gone was the deadline for the civil servants. Civil servants gave government until Sunday to respond to them because it's 0% not going to work. September is just around the corner and teachers need to be paid. Some teachers wait until the end of September before they leave the classroom and migrate. We already lost. March report show that 49% of our teachers have left our classrooms already. We have lost
That's a high
police
proportional
officers.
number. That's almost half of your workforce that is related to teacher that has left the
Exactly.
profession.
And teachers
I
are
mean,
very
these
important.
teachers have been hung out to dry for a long, long time while the government, we all know, awarded themselves with hefty increase, ranging
Hmm.
from 230 to up to 300% increase in salary. But they haven't, paid in regard to the professional side of the civil servant. You understand? And teachers are very important. Teachers are one of the most important civil servants. That's where everyone, garner them education skills. Yeah. And
Exactly.
learn how to be educated people in society. So we can't get that from a plumber, a carpenter, a mason, or an engineer. A teacher teach all of them people. So them have the expertise, knowledge now when they can learn them skill. So government honor them teacher and honor them civil servant because civil servant play a vital role in the development of your society. As long as they are running society good with fairness and transparency, yeah, and integrity, yeah, you need your civil servant, core your civil servant, you need them. So what we are seeing for a long time in Jamaica is scant regard being paid to people who are actually the builders of the country. We just put these politicians here to just govern. Them not really do not much. That's why they have more time to play with the country and the country affair. Yeah, man. So, we welcome the stance that the teachers has finally, come together and will be putting forward. Yeah, them voice need to earn in regards to them being awarded what is rightfully theirs. Yeah, man. Survivor, they're back in that space now.
All right, Buck and ready in the space. So let me just say thanks for you guys to carry on. And that is why we have the ability and the capacity, you understand, to effect when we have a little deflection there. Once again, let me say a big welcome to our people. Today's show is going to be a wonderful show. All right, without any hesitation, you have seen a letter going around. I am not going to even give it any here at all, because really and truly this is not no time for deflection, and we are not going to be deflected as it relates to what we are going to be addressing. We are highlighting the Jamaica Labour Party kleptocratic government, right? We are highlighting the high level of corruption as it relates to Andrew owners. So we are not going to allow no form of destruction that keeping our time to talk about those destructions, and we are not being focused on the issues at hand. What need to be focused on, right? As I said, we have the People's National Party manifesto, right, to show the people why, of course, they need to come on and vote for the People's National Party. That is important for us to highlight. We have to also highlight the high level of corruption, what is going on. And I mean, that is definitely going to affect generation upon generation. So we have to deal with those issues. All right. So without any delay, let us just vibe up the place with a little clip here. Right. Let me just share this little clip with you guys in terms of, get into the deck of things here, right? Now, my brothers and sisters, I want to call everyone brothers and sisters, right? My brothers and sisters, I want you to listen to this person and tell me, what you think. I mean, the Jamaica Labour Party is getting panicking, and let me say this before I play the clip. We used to have pollsters like Carl Stone, pollsters, and Carl Stone is a professional person. Then Anderson, again, right, is a professional pollster, but whatever he has there as it relates to his polling, whatever mechanism he used, right? Yes, we are just going to look at that, but we're going to keep focused. What we are seeing on the ground, right, subjectively speaking, let me say that, I am seeing a high energy, and that energy is telling me that PNP, right, is way out in the lead, and several seats, right, are going to be captured. And I am looking on, based on the energy, a landslide, right? As I said, my argument is subjective. It's just based on, the campaign movements and the energy that we are getting from the campaign, and we are getting some very, very, very good energy. And when we compare that with the Jamaica Labour Party campaign, we are not seeing that energy going towards them. As a matter of fact, going into the final stretch of the general election, what we have witnessed, right, that people are leaving the Jamaica Labour Party. The unfavorability, right, against Andrew Owners is now increasing, right, and of course our comrade leader Mark Golden, right, is now getting into a comfortable spot as it relates to favorability. So that speaks for itself, and that is just what I will speak on the poll there. Let us play this.
Andrew, you look like you're slowly but surely against fuck me, boy. Margin to progress. Come down. Andrew, people never trick you. You see my be load by you in the last half of my boss. Boy, I don't know if you're Julian or Juliet or which one name can fuck up you and the boys and flee. It's best if you do so now. Oh, ciao. Boy, Mr. Willis, but I'll tell the lie, boy. From morning, me dip on the hop. And if you scroll, me scroll. Me hungry here. March it we are marching on to progress. Time come now, realize. Mr. Willis, me not tell the lie, me boss. Look like nobody look a last half. Look like you get fucked. Andrew, look like you slowly but surely I get fucked, me boy. Marching and marching on to progress. Come now, Andrew, people never trick you. You don't see my bail out for you in the last half of my boss. Boy, I don't know if you're Julian or Juliet or which you want name can pack up you and the boys and flee. It's best if you do so now. Power. Ciao. Boy, Mr. Willis, but I'll tell the lie, boy.
Well,
From morning, me dip on the hop.
people, you hear that, right? So then, that is what. Oh, let me just add back melting pot. What happened to melting pot? Melting pot just drop off.
No, you are, you know. I tell you, everyone, the next device, now hear your voice I come through, so I have to switch to the other device.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's what happened.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, interesting. And as I said, right, of course, right, people are, jumping ship. A lot of people from the Jamaica Labour Party is definitely jumping ship. We have video clips of that, right, and we have evidence of that, and that is no joke. But no, that being said, right, let us just put out, that little breath of fresh air, because we're glad to know that, of course, people are jumping ship and people are listening to us. Now, my Jamaican people, just let me just talk to you a bit here, right? When we put out information, we know that, you coming right on the various platforms, right? You want to hear the truth, right? And you want to be informed, you want to be educated, and that is important. And let me just remind our bloggers, right? Not that we can't make any mistake, we can, but I am saying in the best interest, right, of the nation, right? And you are putting out your information, research. If when I'm researching and that research doesn't connect me, right, for a particular point that I want to prove, I am not going to put it out, right? So, and I will always break it in a chronological sequence so that the baby can understand. So, I'm just appealing that, okay, what we are doing, right? We are trying our utmost best to give the best information that we can give. And when we say the best information, not information that we like, we're talking about facts, factual information that anyone can fact check, right? And so we have the liberty of Google search, we have the liberty of Yahoo if you want to, whatever search engine you want to use, and say, okay, all right, let me see if Mystic Sensation is telling a lie, right? And then the fact check me right then and there. And then you will see take you to that source. Now, the Jamaica Labour Party bloggers, many of them cannot do that, because really and truly, those are make-up stories, those are propaganda, right? And they will just speak and speak loosely, right? And in this time and age where, technology is at our fingertip, people don't be stupid, right? Don't make, when Andrew Holness and the campaign, or Andrew Holness candidates on the campaign, they speak. I am now, let me just say this to you all. All I need to do, whenever you hear any one of them speak, right, both from the PNP and the JLP, do your facts check. Do your facts check. You remember, just like the previous slide, right? I want to show people that, of course, Andrew Holness did work with Edward Seaga, 1995 to 1996. What did Mystic Sensation do? Mystic Sensation, right, give you the relevant document, the source of the information that speaks directly to that. And so then the people see that, and the people know very well that, yes, indeed, Edward Seaga, Andrew Holness worked with Edward Seaga between the period 95 and 96. And so then we link these information, right, so that you can understand them, right? So having said that, now let us get into the business of the day, because we are going to heat up the vibes tonight. Afternoon. Sorry. All right. Let's get into the next clip. And people, interestingly, this is the part that hurt me the most. Hurt me the most. When you have a government can take on to themselves, right? Not put in or bearing all the factors or the variables that is happening with the economy. A Jamaica economy that is fragile. Remember that Portia Simpson had taken it from Bruce Gordon in a very shattered economy, and Portia Simpson, right, and Peter Phillips went to the United States, spoke with Maxine Walters, right? But the long and short of it, right, Portia Simpson and Peter Phillips fix the economy. And so then we are not that solid. But to show you the level of wickedness with Andrew Honest, the level of wickedness with Andrew Honest, they given unto themselves 200 and 300% raise. And a fragile economy. A fragile economy that cannot sustain that. But 200 and 300% raise, my people. And I'm going to show you particularly when it comes to, right, within the judiciary space. Why Andrew Honest make those big, payment to them, believing that he could buy out the judiciary. That's one people, let me tell you something. That is the only reason why Andrew Honest had given those heavy hike. Particularly to Paula Llewellyn. Paula Llewellyn had gotten over 200% raise, and I have the evidence. I'm going to show it. And he did that. He did that because he wants Paula Llewellyn to look left. Right? He did that because he wants to bend the judiciary also. Right? So several of the High Court judges and certain judges get paid because Andrew Honest is paying his way through so that they can look left. But Andrew Honest, they are not going to look left. Paula Llewellyn, they are bend Paula Llewellyn. But let me tell you something. Not all of the criminal justice system that you can bend, right, as it relates to your convenience and cover. It's not going to happen. I can tell you that we have a strong judiciary, Andrew Honest. And when you put into that judiciary, you are going to realize how strong that judiciary is. Remember, Mystic Sensation warn you. I say to you, Andrew Honest, whenever you put into that judiciary, all right. Now let us share the other document that we have to share and go through smoothly in the space to inform our people, of course. Right now, my people, just look at this. Look at this, and this is what upset me. And you know why it upset me? Every faculties that you think of, right, through the university, have to begin with teachers who would have taught all areas, right, all skill sets. And this is the way of the Jamaica Labour Party government is dealing with our team, our teachers, and in extension our civil workers. No, it's unfair. It's unfair to them. Right? We are the member of parliament, right? Most of the time, they have not worked at least even half of the time as it relates to these teachers, nurses, and doctors and police who are in the field tiling day and night, right? Running 9 to 5 and doing all the struggle. And yet, the parliamentarian giving unto themselves 200 and 300% raise and a fragile economy like this. And now, suppressing civil workers because they don't want to pay them. They don't want to pay them a livable wage. And that is one of the reasons why you see what we call now a brain drain that is taking place. Police are leaving in drones. Teachers, nurses, doctors, all our skill set, high-tech skill set, people who have the efficiency, right? People who have the ability and the capacity, leaving because they are not getting what we call a livable wage. They can't see themselves gaining upward mobility under Antoinette-led administration. It's a shame. It's a shame. Now, hear what the Jamaica Labour Party government is saying out to the teachers. Do not look at that zero. As according to Morris Dixon, tells teacher ahead of meeting set for Thursday. Do not look at that zero. What does she mean by that, my Jamaican people? Because I know that, of course, not advancing their salary to meet the inflation that is current, you are telling them not to look at the zero. When they go to the supermarket and when they make their purchase and they reach up to the till, they can say to the cashiers, don't look at the zero. When it comes to your light bill to pay, and where the light bill has been increasing, they can't look and say, don't look at the zero. Come on, this is crazy. Now, listen to this person. Education Minister Dr. Donna Morris Dixon has announced that a meeting is scheduled for Thursday morning at the office of the Prime Minister to clarify a set of salary negotiations for several of Jamaica unions, including the Jamaican Teachers Association. Do not look at that zero, Morris Dixon said, as he gave the update today during her keynote address at the JTA's third and final day of its 61st annual conference at the Princess Grand Hotel in Green Island, Hanover. It is a negotiation, and as the Prime Minister said, we are coming to you to give you the best offer, so you do not need to look at that zero, she said. Morrison Dixon stated that as the unions head back to the negotiation table, she expects that the discussions will occur in good faith. And let me warn Andrew Honest, please, let me warn Diana Morris, right? Any promise, let me warn Jamaica. I want all the teachers to listen to me. I want all the workers to listen to me right now and listen to the panel. I'm going to have the panel address this because this needs to be addressed. Let me say this. Any promising, right, of any increase that is going to extend beyond September 3rd, don't listen to them. Do not listen to them. Because you know why you are not to listen to them? After September 3rd, they are not going to be in power. They are not going to be at the helm. So this is again a trick to try have your vote. And so then Andrew Honest now think he's so smart that yes, in the final moment, let us go and let us offer them something substantial that they are going to take so we can help to weigh their mind and they vote for us. Andrew Honest, it now go work. You think the people are idiot? Remember your 100-year promising? Not one of them revealed. Not one of them you have accomplished. Not one you have accomplished. So the people need to be reminded that nothing that you have promised you have delivered. So when you come down now and try to time crank the people then because you have a little 1.5 week left and you want to give them some fat promises because of course you want them vote. People, let me say this. Anything that go beyond September 3rd, now. So anything when I come promise now and him can't remember, you know, him can't deliver before September 3rd. You know? Because many of our civil workers, they are monthly paid. Want to get the trick more and more, unwind the trickery, you know. You people are monthly paid. So I am telling you that he did not give you the offer for you to enjoy, right, couple months prior. No, he suffered you because he's coming with his trickery, right, near the time that he's going to come and he's going to promise, he's going to make you a promise, right, because guess what? He wants the vote. But if this man put back in power, remember me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The whole of Jamaica on put curse in it. This is not a joke. When I am telling you that this man is 100% evil, you better believe what I say. You better believe what I say. Let me go to the panel and have the panel break it down. Right? So this is what we are saying. This is what we are saying. Now, of course, what am I there? I'm shouting up him back. That's the first one.
Long time, sir.
Step up yourself, man.
Yeah.
And talk
Yeah,
to people,
man.
please.
Yeah, man. Well, me just want to use a narrative to show me people and talk to them. Because sometimes you have to use illustration, yeah, to put forward the word. You understand? Context. Well, here we go on our teachers. Andrew, by one of the biggest aquarium, and him put in people of high society in the aquarium there, and him feed them so properly and clean them aquarium. And him take the teacher them for sprat and carry bait one bait the teacher them to catch them. Teachers, don't listen to this garbage prime minister. Cause him not have nothing. You see if him have something now on the card, people didn't want to call him meeting just tell the same award and a 300% increase. And it's signed into law. But when him can't say that, no need for go see him. You can't wait till after the general election. I want to go see a new set of people now with open mind and listening ears. People who are concerned about welfare and education. Yeah, people who want to rise it as we hear Marky G, yeah, and Dr. Dayton Campbell and Crawford, Senator Crawford. Them people have the plan for education. And that plan also include the teacher. Yeah? It not exclude the teacher them. It include them. It include all farmer. You understand? So we don't want to hear from and do this. If him cannot come and tell him the same have 200% increase. Nobody buy into him bait. I vote him a buy enough. And we see it. Yeah, him gone all over St. Thomas gone tell the people about private sector come build much 1,000 house over there. You understand? Andrew garbage. So teacher, who no wait long enough and him not going enough farm a solution to no crisis as it relate to no wage package. Him not going a livable wage. Him having up a minimum wage. You understand? And people of high profession cannot be in the bracket of minimum wage. They must have at least a livable wage so that them can maintain the structure of them life affair and them home. You understand? So don't buy into nothing I even listen up with Andrew and the Labour Party. I run them around, come out and look vote now. Too late shall be them cry. You understand? Marky G and the People's National Party will be the next government of Jamaica. They are the one that will, release the stranglehold by the Teachers Association. Free them up. Free them up to an extent where we can see a teacher now return back home to the profession as it relates to coming back into the classroom. You understand? Because right now we have so much of a robust teacher structure in Jamaica, Most of the teachers, them fast track them into the classroom, they're not fully trained. Yeah? And just the stopgap, like a stopgap government we have in Jamaica, Yeah? When the real people them gone, them rule not supposed to be the way our education system is looked at and managed. You have to have priority as it relates to the educational system in the country. That must be looked at and properly funded and structured so that we keep producing brilliant students who can take on the world as it relates to technology and all these things, managerial side of the world of here. We can export with students, not with teacher. We teacher are supposed to teach and we export the student them. But when we have a kleptocratic government, mash up the classroom. Because remember, the blueprint come from Buster, you know. Jamaica prefer selfish more than education. And if my Jamaican people have the full understanding of that, it means the Labour Party will always keep your duns and feed you with piece of salt, which you have to go find a spring to go drink water. Because you know salt, you have to take a whole heap of water now and full up on the belly. You understand? Them not have nothing of quality to put on the table for Jamaican people life. So ignore Andrew Hollis and him folly. Ignore Andrew Hollis and him bait. Because Andrew Hollis is a fake, and I yield back the floor.
Thank you for that melting pot, and I like the vibration that melting pot, just giving off, and of course, he's 100% correct in terms of what he's saying. Now let us bring in the Empress, right? Things on domestic sensation. Sister Prince, take it over.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Byron. The first clip that you played with the young man making his statement, I just want to respond to that by asking my Jamaicans who are here if they know the name of the festival song that won since month. Nobody can name the name or the person who won the festival contest. Yet everybody knows the PNP marching song. So I agree with the young man 100%. Now going back to this government regarding our civil servants and how they treat them, we have already booked animal farm, and this is the type of government that is behaving like the characters out of the book Animal Farm. And if I want to remind this government, GOP government, that remember the French Revolution, what happened in France, right? When the royals treated the other people in the country like serfs and slaves, they lost their head at the guillotine. And we do not want to come to that in Jamaica, where we use that physical guillotine, but we want to use the law as the guillotine to correct what they have been doing to us for the past 9 years. No, when you look at the high pay package that they give to the judges, yes, they want to bend the judges to their way so that they can overlook their criminal behavior. And it's sad that they did not think of trying to bend the civil servants their way to get their votes on September 3rd. GLP MPs, most of them over there in the 49, the gang of 49 over there right now, most of them over there are less qualified than teachers. We know there are several of them over there who only have six, don't even have 60 passes. Some of them just have a high school certificate, and yet they are elected members of parliament.
Mighty God.
So you think of this. You have someone who just has a high school education determine the salary of someone who is much more qualified than himself or herself. Does that make any sense in Jamaica right now? And I tell you, Jamaica, right now, I can tell you this, all of our PNP candidates have gone through a higher level of education and are qualified in their educational levels, so they know how to deal with people. And let me continue about the teachers. Teachers, focus on what I'm saying right now. Remember, they were building mobile signs when you were in negotiation with them many years ago. They build the Negro sign, they build the Falmouth sign. So building signs are priority than paying you. When you think of the 1.4 billion they build us for the buses and the drill and Cornwall Regional Hospitals squandering money left, right, and center, right? When you think of these things, teachers, on September 3rd, remember one Christmas, Nigel did not pay you your salary because he claimed the algorithm in the system could not calculate the teacher's salary. Yet before computers were invented, Teachers were being paid their money. So, and yet, don't forget, the mayor, the current mayor of St. James, said some time ago that whosoever choose to migrate, any of our professionals that choose to migrate, are not loyal to Jamaica. Yet Nigel Clark migrated because, according to him, he was not being paid enough. If his salary was enough, imagine, Nigel was given an increase in salary and he still migrated. So if the teachers are not paid or were not paid an increase, why should they stay?
Exactly. Exactly.
Understand that, my teachers. My mother was a teacher, and many members of my family are still in the teaching profession at different levels, from university to colleges, primary school, basic school, and high school. And I have to respect the profession of a teacher because the teachers teach us to, to, to venture into any other profession.
Exactly.
No, this person who them have as Minister of Education, this little lady here. I don't know if she just opens her mouth and just say things. What you mean we must not, teachers must not look on the zero? Zero means nothing. Empty
Exactly.
barrel. So you want the teachers to accept, don't look on the zero, don't look on the empty barrel. The empty barrel cannot go to supermarket. The empty barrel cannot pay JPS. Empty barrel cannot pay National Water Commission. Empty barrel cannot take care of the children and the family. And I would like this Minister of Education to explore for one day what it is like to live on the salary of a present teacher. That is the only way she might understand why the teachers are crying out today. I would like her to explore the experience of how a teacher at any level live on their current salary. And it's a disrespect to teachers to what they are doing to them. Because you can't wait until the end of your governance to offer to be here talking about salary increases when you know the next pay bill you won't be in government. Teachers and government workers are normally paid the 23rd, the 24th of each month. Civil servants are paid that at that time. 23rd of September, Andrew won't be in power. And I yield the floor to someone else.
Thank you for that, Spinks. Really wonderful response to that situation. Right. Don't look at the zero. I think, you see, when it comes to a government that is just outright gone rogue, right? And that is what makes it terrible. And, it's just pity that the masses of our people are not educated. And I'm telling you, if the masses were educated and knowing the history of the Jamaica Labour Party, you wouldn't have a Jamaica Labour Party existing, to be honest. And when we are speaking, right, we are speaking the truth. Do you believe a mystic sensation or pinks or a melting pot would just come out and just speak out against a government if the government was performing and the government was doing the right thing and the government didn't mix up in corruption? But let's just take it from the blogger. It is not only the blogger speaking out, right? You have the anti-corruption system that is speaking out against honest. So then you think that those people gone off their mental rock, right? Remember, who were amongst, right, the Integrity Commission body, You're talking about previous judge. You're talking about some distinguished lawyers. So then, all these people are telling you lies and undueness. Why would you think that the Integrity Commission investigator who have a particular mandate. They are the creature of parliament. What do you think anyone would want to go against the prime minister to do what? To create what you call a career suicide? No. Do you believe that someone just, they're just randomly just attacking the prime minister? No.
Exactly.
Let me say this to you people. In terms of my job description, I do audit partially every day where we track products, right? And when we have variances, we investigate and we search for variances to find those variances and explain why those variances occur. That's my job. And so then what the Integrity Commission investigators look on, it's simple, people. It is simple. They're not out to get the prime minister. They look on the prime minister's statutory declaration that he had submitted, and I am surprised as it relates to Emily Shields. I'm really surprised because what Emily Shields had done was to nitpick the report and pick out pieces, right? And try to explain the piece that she took out in a subjective manner, not an objective manner, in a subjective manner. It's her opinion. What about the truth, Emily Shields? When you look at the report, right, it is clear. The report is saying that yes, the Integrity Commission investigators, right, certified Andrew Owen's statutory declaration from 1998 coming up, from 2007 coming up to 2020. Emily Shields asks herself the question, what are the reasons as to why they were certified? Now, if you look into the report, right, told you the reason. The report stated to you, Emily Shields, that as a result of the information that they were given at the time, right, notwithstanding that the prime minister lied to them, did not disclose several companies that the prime minister owed, and as such, these statutory declarations were certified. Let us advance the argument a little bit, Emily Shields. Based on new information, Emily Shields, so-called lawyer, based on new information received after the certification of those statutory declarations, another look has to be taken into the Prime Minister's statutory declaration of all of what he had submitted, because new information, new data, new intelligence, whatever you want to call it, is going to change the outlook of what previously collected. Do you get that, Shield? Is that hard for you to read a prophet and say you're a liar? Shield, it is saying that the result of the information received now, recently, after, then we have to now look back and ask for further information to clarify the new intelligence. Do you get that? Do you get that, Emily? So the new intelligence is asking for clarification. This is why now it's gone to FIB, because the Prime Minister sealed it. The Prime Minister doesn't want to speak, because that was the reason why he did not give it in the first instance. Okay, so now that will provide some common sense for you, Emily Shield, right? The next time you run out, remember, say we're out there. And we are not going to allow you to fool our people. because we know that you're a JLP operative. I don't know. Oh, it's the inspiration of God that the whatever award being bestowed upon me, and I tell you, and blah blah blah. It bestowed upon you because you're a JLP operative. And if you can't figure that out, that means something wrong with your brain. If you can't figure that out, the reason why it was given unto you, just as the reason why Andrew Holness had given big raise to respective people who he wants to look left, and we are going to get into it. I don't know, 7 times mystic sensation coming on, trouble, Now let us take a news from Nationwide, and you see the way me I beat them now, right? Because they want to push out people name and talk out people that tell lie on them. So let me know. You know what I'm doing now? I am taking it from them. So, if them say mystic sensation lie, they are saying that they are telling the lie. So Nationwide, Mama come up, Mama go over your place. May I take it from you in a Nationwide? Yes. May I take it from you? So Mama go over your place, Nationwide. Let me go over your place. All right, Nationwide. Now come over your place. Watch this. You're amused this, Because since you're not talk about people that tell lie pound. Jamaica on the search for new DPP. At the honest. Hey. Me want the panel to talk on this, because problem this, Jamaica people, this is the beginning of Andrew L. Yes, the departure of open gap. See the gap here, when you come pass through. See the gap here, all of the criminals can come through. That's the gap meaning. Now, let me read this. Jamaica is searching for a new director of public prosecution, DPP. The Office of the Service Commission has advertised, the chief prosecutorial post as the incumbent Paula Llewellyn prepares to demit office in September. A long time I need to leave. Paula Llewellyn, let me say this to you, and I am not going to hesitate in terms of what I'm saying here to you. Let me show the public that you, Miata, Paula Llewellyn, you are responsible for the corruption to be continued in Jamaica as a result of you not engaging the process. Why am I saying that, Paula Llewellyn? We watch you on a seminar, speak truth to power, and what you have spoken on the seminar. You said that a prudent prosecutor, Paula Llewellyn, should work in tandem. What that means? Should work jointly with investigators in order that evidence can be collected. Both the prosecutor and the investigator can look and overlooked, review and over-reviewed, and make a determination to say, yes, based on the evidence, we can move forward. But Paula Llewellyn, we have seen that you have executed your judgment, what we call conveniently. So you are DPP for the Jamaica Labour Party and not for Jamaica. We have seen that you have made decisions that is outrightly biased. Now we have seen that you have gone contrary to even what you have said in the seminar. And so then Les Green had a problem with you. To the point where Les Green stated that he could not put the investigation alone, Paula Llewellyn, as it relates to James Robertson, to have James Robertson arrested. Les Green, who was the Assistant Commissioner of Police, said Les Green, had carefully, Paula Llewellyn, collected evidence, collected statement, And when he look at the case, remember, let's read. Scotland Yard degree. Scotland Yard detective. And Paul Llewellyn, if you read the history of Scotland Yard detective, you know that they are very, very, very much meticulous. And so then after Les Green carefully collected the information that would definitely charge James Roberts. You, Paul Llewellyn, what did you do? What did you do, Paul Llewellyn? You turn your back. You turn your back. You turn your back. Because you knew very well, Paul Llewellyn, that the information and intelligence and data collected by Les Green would have taken down James Robertson. And James Robertson needs the strength of the DPP to go up against a government official. But what you have done, Paul Llewellyn, you have turned your back. We have seen instances as it relates to the National Water Commission president outrightly breach guidelines. And you look at the case, Paul Llewellyn, and you admitted, yes, there is a breach. But you know what you said, Paul Llewellyn? You said because of the time that exhausted, the case is now statute bar. Then Paul Llewellyn, you know the duration time to act within the duration time. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? In other instances, Paul Llewellyn, as it relates to your biasness, and I'm just asking you a question. Why you have not interrogated Patrick Bailey? What, Paul Llewellyn? Are you saying that you don't see the evidence? Let me remind you, Patrick Bailey and the deceased person, they were locked inside. Let me remind you again, Paul Llewellyn, there was no breach. There was no breach from outside inside. So, Paul Llewellyn, you don't ask yourself a question. You don't question yourself. Then how could this man be killed where both of them locked inside and there was no breach from outside? And Patrick Bailey has not been interrogated. Patrick Bailey has not been interrogated. And you are saying, Paul Llewellyn, that your testicular fortitude is something to challenge. Because you call a spade a spade. You call a spade, Paul Llewellyn. And we wonder why. Your time has been extended. So let me ask you, Paul Llewellyn, you need to speak to the mirror. Was your time extended as a result of your excellent performance that you performed very well in your office, delivering the justice that ought to be delivered to the Jamaican people? Was that the reason why you have given an extension? Or it is because, of course, they know that you're a Jamaica Labour Party operative, and they know that, of course, your judgment will be convenient as it relates to not bringing down any of the Jamaica Labour Party hierarchy. And so then you were there to protect the status quo. It seems like it is the latter of the two reasons that I have given. So now, let me just show the public something here, where I'm going with this, Paul Llewellyn. Why you have been there, Paul Llewellyn? Now, let me just get back, right, to show Jamaican people. That's why we like to present evidence. To show that search, let me just juggle down. And I said to myself, asking myself to question my people. Andrew Honest, really and truly, is a chess player. What does that mean to us? For me, as a deep diver, I start to see where that makes sense. Because Andrew Honest's plan is method of poison way in advance. Way in advance. And so then, when Andrew Honest, right, made that big increase, it wasn't so much to definitely look at parliamentarians, right, and to give them the raise, to boost them in terms of good performance. It wasn't that. The reason the raise was given under disguise, under pretext, because Andrew Honest knew that he had corrupted the system so much. And as such, he want the legal backing of the DPP. Yes. My subjective opinion, just like how Emily Shield has her subjective opinion. Let me say that before we come run out. Now, let me go to this next share and show something, because I want the panel to come mash them down on this, mash them down. All right, let us get into that. Let us share this. Now, people, you know, Mystic Sensation, and Mystic Sensation is going to fight for his people. I start to wonder. I said, okay, let me look and see how much Paula Llewellyn used to get my people. And Paula Llewellyn given 200% raise. Now, we know that the previous document stated that they are looking for a new DPP and wish that DPP salary, right, can go anywhere between 17 to 18 million per year. So I said, what? Okay then. Let me look and see how much Paula Llewellyn used to get before Andrew Honest give him the big drive there. You know? And see the people? In 2017, the basic annual salary for the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, in Jamaica was approximately 6 million or 524,000 monthly before deductions. Let us take that away, and we are going to go to the panel and discuss something here. We're going to look for the big pen. And Andrew Honest now had given her 200%. Now, remember now, let us discuss this, people. Let us discuss this. Let us discuss this. So Paula Llewellyn, in 2017, my Jamaican people, was getting $6 million. But based on what Nationwide puts out there as it relates to the pay being offered to the new DPP coming in, is roughly $17 million that they have. So now let us use our common sense. We know that Paula Llewellyn is one of the most senior of all the DPPs. And so then you couldn't be looking to give Paula Llewellyn, right? Just the basic, 17 million. No, you couldn't do that to Paula Llewellyn. So when we look at $6 million, and Paula Llewellyn get 200% raise, right? So then we multiply that, right? And there you go, and there you have it. You have the salary. So Paula Llewellyn brushed pretty well near 18, 19 million. And when we say 18, 19 million on the 200% raise on the $6 million, remember other things in terms of certain benefits today. So we put up Paula to $20 million. Then let me ask Paula Lowell. You honest, done that to you because you expose yourself, it's nationwide expose you. Nationwide expose you. So what me do now, me just do the calculation because you get 200% raise. So you used to get 6 million. Right? 360 is 18. And we know you now we get the basic minimum just like that. You are getting other benefits that push it up to about 20 million. So then let me ask you a question now, Paula. You have $20 million per year. They call it. Now you understand you're not going to rule against Andrew. So this is like a bribery under a pretext of a pay increase. So that, of course, you can overlook because your pocket buff, your bank account fat, and you do nothing criminal. Remember, you have not done anything criminal. There's the Prime Minister give you the pay, but why did the Prime Minister give you the pay? And for the Prime Minister now to cover it and not make it look no way, the Prime Minister increase other people pay just to, the pretext, just to cover it, just to shield it out. But and this is how the Prime Minister hurt the economy of Jamaica. Hurt taxpayers. Taxpayers have to pay for that. So what? And the honest wrongdoing under the pretext of giving 200% raise to Paula Llewellyn. So Paula Llewellyn have collected about $20 million. And I not tell, but don't come tell me say I lie. Now, since we're that upset, I'm going to calm down myself because now I'm a distinguished panel to defend me. All right. Since that explains, let me make a run out on one.
Yes, Uncle Byron. If the staff at our office ask her to be removed, what else can we expect?
Exactly.
And we all know that the members of parliament salary were actually salary increases to cover their corruption or try to explain their illicit enrichment. I want us to take that again. The members of parliament increase in salary was given to them to sort of try to be a justification or an explanation for them having the monies that they have stolen from us. Now, when you look on Paula Lewin right now, when you look at someone who started at $6 million in 2017 and is increased by 200% to be offered 17 to $20 million for her position, it is a legal way to do bribery now in Jamaica. So salary
Exactly.
increase under the GLP has become a legalized bribery. Legalized bribery. Whether it be 100%, 200%, 300% increase, is all legal bribes. And Jamaica is paying dearly for it because guess what happened? Most of these persons who are given these salary increases are abusing us Jamaicans. Very few of them ever consider not doing us any harm. And this top heavy salary, it has to go. I remember Mark Golding, our common leader, he made several statements in that he will actually have to rethink and revamp these salaries when he takes office. And I agree with him because if there has to be a level playing, you can't have this top heavy salary while the civil servants are being treated like this on a daily basis. Civil servants cannot pay their bills. Civil servants cannot buy a house. Civil servants who cannot, who are who have mental issues and can't treat their mental issues because of the stress they're under. And this is the reality that Jamaicans live in right now. Firemen, doctors, medical staff, right through the lab staff. Look at what happened some months ago at Cornwall Regional Hospital, where the lab staff actually demonstrated for 3 years they did not collect their uniform allowance. And I'm sure the DPP collected her allowance. I am sure Andrew Onis collected his allowance. I am sure Philip Onis collected her allowance. And the other members of them over there collected their allowance. So why is it people who work in the lab are being forced to pay for their uniform for the past 2 years? And that's just one example. Police officers are being forced to buy their own shoes and gear to be a police officer, and they cannot even collect their overtime. What's happening? Imagine for the first time in the history of Jamaica, remember, Jamaicans, our police officers took this government to court, won the case over their overtime, and still is outstanding. And when one young man got up and spoke out against it publicly, he was mistreated and abused, and they found every excuse to remove him. That brother is a hero to the police officers. And I yield the floor, Uncle Byron.
All right. Thank you for another wonderful input there, Mr. Spinks. Let us have the opening batsman coming on the energy. Melting pot.
Yes, you know what Spinks just highlighted, is 100% truth to the matter. Yeah? Everybody that work in Jamaica must be rewarded for the service that they contribute
Our melting pot is coming in.
building of Jamaica. It
Melting
cannot
pot.
be politicians and their elites that, benefit from going to work and can realize their hopes and their dreams and their aspiration. But hard-working people,
Okay. Melting.
He's having internet problem. It's freezing up.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounded as if he was freezing up.
Yeah. Okay. Melting pot is freezing up there. So let us just move on. Right. Let me just get into the next document before melting pot comes back in, right? And we continue the flow. All right, let us dig into more information. So when we look, okay, melting pot, I think melting pot is back. Let us add back melting pot. Okay, melting pot. Oh, you saw now?
yeah, yeah. Everything.
Okay, all right, continue.
Yeah, as I were, previously saying that, people in Jamaica when they work, they must be rewarded. Every single worker in Jamaica must be rewarded, yeah, for doing their daily work. It can't be the top official, the parliamentarian, the man, those type of people who serve in the high command and JCF and like DPP, yeah, because we fully well aware that throughout the period of time that this DPP have been in office, she has not worked to the full, commitment of serving Jamaica. She have worked with the commitment of serving the Jamaica Labour Party and Andrew Wallace. Because just look at, I have a list here, yeah, of people that should be charged that is DP has been charged. We look at Patrick Bailey here, yeah, and where I'm going with. Them man then don't get charged, you know, with them corruption, you know. Roy Reid, Bobby Montague, Dan Query, Hugh Craskery, Mark Craskery, Andrew Wallace, Tom Tavares, Vincent. The man then get charged, you know. And in the case of Bobby Montague and Tom Tavares, Vincent, in them circumstance, that was a related matter as in regard to firearm being gone AWOL. But look who she charged. She charged Philip Palwell and Patrick Roberts in the same circumstance of them losing them firearm.
Exactly.
But the man they only lose one firearm each. But in the case of Bobby Montague and Tom Tavares, them lose 2 firearms each. You understand? We look at Ninja Man, circumstantial evidence. Put with Ninja Man. Because Ninja Man have influence, you know, that can sink them, that can rise up people. You understand? When you look on Vibes Cartel, it's another hanky-panky situation that again. And in that Vibes Cartel scenario, it played out in the Privy Council of London. And this garbage DPP with upon 20 mil was made to look ordinary people. And she lose the case and come up back to Jamaica like a lappiest dog. You understand? So we know the type of DPP where we have. She highly corrupted. And our corruption give her the incentive of 200% increase. But the teacher them and the nurse them have more to offer to Jamaica on a daily basis. Them serve Jamaica daily. But them been looked down upon like nobody in the country. Yeah, I was some little idiot boy like Dennis Brook, where them create into a police, where become senior strategist in a GSDF. Fast tracking from district council, haul him to Big Mama hat trick. Yeah, we see him on CBM like a little man do acrobat. Like he's an acrobat. You understand? But the man then fast track into senior position in the GSCF and they're on big salary over 12 mil a year. What can go so? So we know Andrew Wallace led government is a corruption government. You understand? And the DPP, we know she contribute to the demise of Jamaica and the high level of corruption that we see take place in Jamaica frequently. You understand? This is why the minister then can't behave in the way how they operate. Because they know there's no consequence.
Okay, seems like melting pot freezing up again.
Again, yeah.
All right, so let us just move on to the next. But my Jamaican people, as it relates to what melting pot was said, and as it relates to what Pinks, right, Q had spoken about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about.
We have to look at the DPP position, yeah, from 2008 right up to this present time. And a lot of, you know, inquiry has to take place into the DPP tenureship. Because Les Green, the former Assistant Commissioner of Police, you know, make mention of the DPP in the Miami area.
Yes.
And, you know, that is very, very damaging on the DPP because a high-profile member of parliament, you know, that we know, yeah, have committed so many atrocities that even WikiLeaks have to embrace him in them system. Them have to all him in their light into the world. Yeah? But when this man was supposed to, face the music and the justice system, what the DPP do? She conspired to ignore everything. She never lend no support to Les Green. But here is the DPP, previously saying that a prudent prosecutor should work in tandem with the DPP. Then all the DPP work in tandem with a prudent prosecutor. What can go so?
Exactly.
So straight 5 have a lot to answer to. And I'm just hoping that the people in authority will seek to revisit her time working in the capacity of a DPP, because we know that, her own colleagues make mention of her high level of corruption. And she was trying to defend herself in some little anky-panky manner like people, bad mind her, because that's them slogan from the JLP, bad mind.
Yes.
No, nobody can bad mind into the position. People that more, participate with you in the office, knowing that fully well there is a time limit on the DPP. So that person now that just wait them time up and you move on and then fill the shoes. You understand? So nobody will go with the person don't want to be around a corruption DPP. And it was so blatant that the lady, Miss Campbell, have to make mention. Not Campbell, Katie Ann, have to make mention. Yeah, at this DPP, then put her up on garden leave and draw to Campbell to fill the gap. But she was still an monthly salary. So we at one point in time were paying for 2 DPP.
Yeah, that's true.
What can go so? Hey, you see Andrew in dangerous, And all this was done by Andrew Holness to protect himself.
Yeah.
As it relates to the high level of criminality Andrew having on a daily basis, as the head of the country, the chief civil servant, call it what you will, the prime minister. He single-handedly handpicked some people, like Major Anderson Gubugaga. And then you have this one, Kevin Gubugaga, too. We look on General Lampire. Yeah. The man they know was serve in a ministry. But they might come from the army. Gubugaga, as an army man, was supposed to protect the civilian post, inside of the GSF, That's supposed to be awarded to serving members who have climbed the ranks and have the IQ and expertise, knowledge of our society when it comes to policing. But Andrew picked Gubugaga. Man can't talk to save him life. The man was a piece of shit. And still is. You understand? And what him having now? Him having now as ambassador. What can go so? Oh, your ambassador is a man who not have a proven track record. When him there, they don't put that Brad go dance. Remember the man can't talk, don't know talk overseas. Who Gaga can represent overseas as Andrew, ambassador from Jamaica? So she said Andrew Holness is just a rogue. The rogue prime minister. Andrew Holness is a bandul prime minister, for want of a better phrase. He trick and lie and con him a gold medal in a them 3 capacity there. He's a brother Nancy. The man is a lunatic. The man is garbage. The man, as I always have said, is a guy that is not surplus to requirement. And he's not a prime minister material. And I yield back the floor.
All right, dear, you have it right from the inspirational melting pot and spring skew in the space. Right, our distinguished panelist, right? They are breaking it down in details for us, right? We thank them, right? Let us go get into, right, the crux of the matter in terms of how vicious and suppressive and oppressive that this government is, right? Knowing to themselves that them take on 100 to 250 to up to 300%, right? For themselves, include Nigel Clark and so forth, right? And trust me, the people who are working hard, particularly, I don't, to be honest, my Jamaican people, I really don't believe that we have any middle class in Jamaica. I think based on the suffrage and the high inflation and the poverty that is taking place, I think we have, we have eroded our middle class. So what we have some people who, extremely rich, right? Poor and extremely poor, people beyond the poverty line, right? Because most of the earth being done, you know that it is the middle class always carry the engine of the economy, right? And so then, those are most of the people who have to do, the heavy lifting as it relates to the economy, right? Our civil workers and so forth. But look how they treated them. Look how this Jamaica Labour Party administration has been treating them. Now let us look at this and get back into, right, what we are talking about is as it relates to why we are now experiencing what we call a possible brain drain. Because most of these people are leaving. They are leaving because they want a livable wage. Let us get back in memory.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. No celebrations here. Government defense hefty pay increase for political directorate. JTA and Police Federation outraged by apparent inequality as their wage review issues continue. And later in sports, Windies A in control versus Bangladesh A in unofficial first test. I'm O'Shane Masters and here are the details. No celebrations over here. That's how Information Minister Robert Morgan described the mood in cabinet and among government members of parliament following the massive pay increase announced for the political directorate yesterday. Minister Morgan, who was speaking at post-cabinet press briefing this morning, sought to justify the raise following uproar by public sector workers and concerned citizens. Jamila Maitland reports.
100%, 150%, 200%, and in the case of Prime Minister Andrew Holness, a more than 250% increase in salary effective April 1, 2023. And by 2024, a more than 300% increase compared to what he was earning in 2021. The announcement, which has been sending alarm bells across the island, the massive pay increase announced for the political directorate. Information Minister Robert Morgan, in justifying the figures, say they were arrived at by a decades-old policy.
The structure that was outlined many decades ago said that ministers of cabinet should be $53 above permanent secretaries. Permanent secretaries got a significant increase, which reached a particular level. We did not interfere with the structure that was operating for the last 20-odd years. So it's not a case where the government got up and said, okay, we're going to just give the ministers a massive increase. It is an increase that is predicated on the formula that has been accepted and used for the last 20-odd years in government.
But are the raises simply out of touch with the realities of the Jamaican society?
We're not celebrating an increase. The increase comes as part of a public sector transformation process.
Some unions are already criticizing the salary increases, comparing it to that of public sector workers like teachers, police officers, and healthcare workers. But Minister Morgan hit back, saying under the new regime, they too received increases. Now, he says greater pressure and scrutiny will be placed on the politicians to carry out their jobs.
The excuse of not being paid well is off the table. what needs to happen now, and the Prime Minister was very clear about it, is that MPs and ministers, and I think on both sides of the aisle, now have an ultimate responsibility to demonstrate to the people of Jamaica, even more than they were doing before, that we're working for them.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ.
That's what
Meanwhile, the People's National Party, PNP, is again calling for the government to return to the negotiating table with the unions representing public servants.
Absolute garbage. Let me just break down what he said. This is how vicious Unjust is. Vicious because as a country that piece of liar that we just listen to. Here what he said, people. That the government had done nothing wrong. There was a system that established long time ago, right, that has a particular mathematical formula that relates to how you deal with raises. And it said that member of parliament, right, should get $53 above permanent secretary. Hear what they are not telling the people. Hear what they are not telling the people. Yes, that is true as it relates to the formula that's set to deal with the pay increase. What they are not telling the people is that they have given a significant increase to the permanent secretary. Why did you give that significant increase and then you know, as it relates to member of parliament, have to go $53 above that? That is the crux of the matter, people. That is the crux of the matter. The purity that Margaret is now trying to explain and speaking now to the masses because he believes that the masses will not understand what is going on. Yes, you have a pay structure as it relates to how to deal with raises and so forth and so forth. And you gauge yourself between member of parliament and a permanent secretary so that MPs get $53 above. But what they are not speaking on is the high level increase that you have given permanent secretary just in order to give you an extra boost of $53 above them. Taxpayers cannot, sir, afford it. So what you should have never done was to give that significant increase. If you care about the Jamaican people and you care about the economy, knowing to the fact in terms of how Portia Simpson fix it, where it could now benefit all of Jamaican, the inflation that we are facing now is also a contributory factor of the high raise that you have given yourself. So then, the question that I am asking you, why did you set the bar so high for the permanent secretary? Why did you, and then you're coming out now, try to act as if you are what? A snake eyes salesman? What are you selling? That cannot be told, right? It just goes to your level of criminality and corruption. If you care about building the economy, one of the first things that you should have done in terms of wanting to build the economy is to strengthen our education system. So two areas that you should have attacked: education, agriculture. Remember that tourism now really nothing. All right, let me explain this to the people. Tourism should be one of our biggest foreign exchange earners. And it is. Don't get me wrong. Listen to what I'm saying. It is. However, ask yourself the question. Let us ask ourselves the question. How much of that data generated by tourism been circulating in Jamaica? That's the question. How much of that dollar being absorbed as a result of our natural resources? Who are the owners of these hotels? Most of the booking doesn't even take place on the island. Most of the booking take place offshore. So partially more than 80% of the money, right, that tourism is making in Jamaica, how much of that circulating in the country to boost the country economy? So when you have Edmund Bartlett coming out and talk about macroeconomics, what happened to micro? Huh? So when you can balance macro, but you can't deal with micro. More to the small business enterprises, right? You are not allowing them, right, to even get a good slice of the cake out of tourism. So this all-inclusive thing that you created is ensuring that all of the money squeeze in and squeeze out in the hotel. The hotel now selling craft, competing with our craft vendors at the craft market. So then the traveler, the guest, right, don't need to go outside to buy craft because the hotel, right? So the hotel win on accommodation, the hotel win on Jamaica local products, which what should have happened, we should talk about inclusive, right? Everybody needs to be included. But the all-inclusive, right, exclude a lot of people out of the business. And that is my point of argument. So if you have a government that really cares about the economy, they should first look on our middle class, look on the engine of the economy, because any car would run on the road, if the engine not good enough, you know a problem. Right? So your engine has to be sturdy. And so then, what needs to be challenged here, this is one of the reasons why I love the People's National Party manifesto. Love it. And it's the first time in history where I have witnessed, right, an opposition putting out their manifesto. And instead of the incumbent government put out a manifesto so that manifesto can shield them for people to vote on their manifesto. They are now critiquing the opposition manifesto and not putting out their manifesto. So what the people are going to vote on? What are the choices that you are giving the people? In the People's National Party manifesto, agriculture is front and center. In the People's National Party manifesto, housing for people, low-income housing is front and center. In the People's National manifesto, education is front and center. What happened to the GLP manifesto? Corruption, front and center. Integrity Commission investigator, they investigate them for the day them coming in office until now. That is what build up the GLP manifesto. Corruption, nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery. So you put out some fire. Right where the Prime Minister got on crossroad, turn traffic cop. The direct traffic. Because of that, you see him down there they're doing. Because you don't have nothing good in them the flyers then. Be a garbage. So based on what we see the Prime Minister now had done, gone across road. Right? All of a sudden now the Prime Minister now devalue himself from Prime Minister to traffic cop. Gone down now the direct traffic. Because why am I in your hand? No make no sense. Why am I in your hand is not going to push the country forward. Let me show the Prime Minister as it relates. Hey, Jamaica, hold on. Let me just reason we don't know a bit before I bring in the point. Let me just reason we don't know a bit. May I go back to Burkina Faso? Yes, may I go back to Burkina Faso because it is important to show a perfect example. We look from Burkina Faso and knowing how Burkina Faso was suffering as a result of corruption and all kinds of things. Burkina Faso economy was stagnant. Or something I show you people. Andrew Holness have 9 years. And not only that, Andrew Holness had gotten 9 years. Andrew Holness had gotten a red carpet economy that created by Portia Simpson. And you know, let me tell you, this beat me to the core. Sometimes when I hear Andrew Holness speaking in relation to how 50 years back, no road never fixed, nothing never happened. And when it comes to fiscal discipline, PNP is not the father. We are, let me talk to you, Jamaica. We are not to allow a scammer to continue to scam the people. Andrew Holness is a natural scammer. Let me see it, make you hear it. Why you said that Andrew Holness is a natural scammer? So I put out a rhetorical question, so let me answer it because I know the answer. He's a natural scammer based on evidence that you know and you have seen. How you know it and how you have seen it. Andrew Holness is a part of Cash Club 2005. Something I'm going to show you, Jamaica. And Andrew Holness took $2 or $3 million in a cash flow at an increase in terms of investment benefit, right? 10% per month. So if you make that, see it, I hear you're talking about 120% is collecting on the $2 million that he put in there, which simply means that his pull from out of cash flows would be somewhere near 4,200,000.
Correct.
So when you look at that, people, Andrew Holness now would have known that, okay, I'm in cash plus. What happened to those investors? Let us reason. We are reasoning people. We are reasoning. Put yourself in Andrew Holness' shoes. You've been in cash plus. And they are the top. Because nobody can run to your money. You know. You're the Prime Minister. And as a matter of fact, you're one of the organizers. You are one of the organizers. So your money is sure. And you put in a bulk, you put in how much sufferer that put their money in a cash plus. Could have put in $1 million. You put in 2. So you're doing $2 million. And you get 4 million and mash out of cash plus. You're going to tell me, Andrew Holness, that you are not that intelligent to understand that, okay, this is a Ponzi scheme, simply means it's pyramid shaped. Andrew Holness, let me reason with you, Andrew. Pyramid shaped in terms of investors. Simply means that the first set of persons who organize it, which you are among, you are at the top of the pyramid. all of those persons who come in and packed in cash plus, right? Spreading a wide base, the wide base will be feeding the few at top. You're going to tell me, Andrew, you didn't know that? And so then, okay, all right, Andrew, you collected from that pyramid scheme. You claim that you have such an advancement in studies. So you're going to tell me that you know aware of how the pyramid works? That the massive spread at the base will be feeding the minute organizers at the top. So you being at the top as an organizer, collected your 120% if you make that stay for a year, Andrew Honest. And you collected and you benefited. The money that you have been collecting Jamaican money, I haven't seen. Let me speak something now clear tonight. Let me speak something clear tonight. Many of these black persons will not vote for our golden. And let me tell you why, Jamaica. Let me tell you why. Let me speak the truth now. Yeah, I'm grieved tonight. Let me speak the truth. Many of them will not vote for Mark Golden because you know what they are saying? Mark Golden is white, and white man do with this, and white man do with that. And so no matter what Andrew Honest do, a black man will say, a black man time now. That is the mentality of them. That is the mentality of current trust. Going against Mark Golden because she said it out of her mouth that Mark Golden is a white man. And let me tell you something, Jamaica. We have many black people during the genesis of the slavery who told us out it. And they were slave traders.
Thank you.
Why do you think we maintain 400 years in a this? That's not for sure. You think you just know? The same way how we are behaving right now, it was the same way they were behaving back then. The plantation slave and the house slave. Let me talk. Let me teach them. Let me beat and teach tonight. And for many of them who turn up their nose for Mark Golden, they don't realize in terms of their myopic view, they are not seeing the bigger picture. Who Andrew Honest is robbing? Who Andrew Honest is robbing is not white people. Andrew Honest is not robbing white people in his policy scheme. We are black. It is we he is robbing. We are black. And who is trying to save us from that? Mark Golden. Wake up, Jamaica people. Wake up. Because you don't have that sort of shit over Mark Golden head. So, guess what? Because of your myopic view, you are not seeing Andrew Honest robbing from black people. This is who we call Bagawaya. You're not seeing Bagawaya robbing from the black people. And so then, Andrew Honest robbed several black investors in a cash plus. What do you think he done in 2007? Beat it in 2005. What do you think he had done in 2007? Up across all it. So you think he did not learn what happened to the investors in 2006? You think, no, he doesn't know. He's just investing. I'm just honestly investing. And, you know, I'm lucky enough to get my money. Yeah. Huh? For those who want to put it up, he's just going and he just invest. And, you know, he's just lucky to get the investment. Some invest gains and some invest lose. It's a well-organized plot where you rob the fucking Jamaican people. That's what you have done, Andrew Honest. And then, after, you also go into Olit. Right? You push millions in Olit. You take out who you think you get, who you think you're your friend and rob Andrew Honest. People who you ask them how to vote for you. So you don't have Margoli. You don't have nothing for Margoli. Nothing at all you don't have for Margoli. Margoli is honest, full of integrity, and integrity boss that. And you want to say thief in empire to go down. And then, what a shift do? What a shift next? You cross carry come back in line, have to mash up the financial sector, and Dan Crawford. Right? And Paul Chenyang. You run line, run friend, have friend. To show that you're an organizer. You can talk to these people and who you shape and friend with. The white man you shape and friend with to rob all the people. So for current class and all of them who talk about Mark Gold in white and rare now and government and now make no white man come and come rare blah blah blah. They are piece of shit. To say the least to my Jamaican people. Right? Andrew Holness has done us the greatest evil. All of what Bush Simpson had done had been reversed. And that is why they are fighting so hard. Because if the PNP going, shit is going to touch the fan, things are going to reveal. But Father God, I am praying to you to let the people listen. So when you come with them money to buy them out, the people them can see so still peace with that for some man. But when you come with the money in a shirt and wrap up and give them, right? Since you give it to the people then, the people they must take it because guess what, people? All of this, the money that they are giving out now, taxpayers' money, you know. So you think, people, if you take this money and Andrew will let's get back in power, what is going to happen with inflation? Think, people, think Jamaican people. When you take that money, because he is now robbing in the taxpayers' money, backed by Darrell Vaz, open up a program quickly. $1.4 billion in garbage bus to push through the election. And you can't see it. You can't see it, you know that. We should have to come on yourself so hard and I tell you no. Listen to me, it is clear in front of your eyes. And Darrell Vaz explained this. No, he can't. So you think the 1.4 billion are used though? Eh? The cabinet approve it. The cabinet approve it. Somebody did share in various constituency for run. You understand? Because the campaign and so forth and so forth. So then, this government, utilizing taxpayers' money, running campaign which is illegal, them should have gone to prison. But true democratic country, them gone to prison. And so then when you bite into it, what do you think is going to happen to inflation? Ask yourself these questions. That $5,000 that you took, that you take today, the $5,000 or $10,000 or any amount you take today, you and your sons and sons and sons will have to pay for it tomorrow. Yes. That's what is happening. That is what is happening. This government must put into the judiciary and tried. Jamaica people, you will, if you give Margolin the opportunity, give him the chance, you will see how Andrew and his kleptocratic government had planned to destroy your life. Am I lying? No, I am not. I am not. So let me for closing because you know so we have to set up close shop early and then we roll out on Titan because Titan later people are worried, you know, no come over on Titan. We not say nothing, we have one little secret to go extend on Titan, but we not say nothing. We keep the secret there. All right. So for closing, my wonderful people, let me just go on the panel. Prince, Sister Pinks, come up, right? And let me just put your Sister Pinks. Come into the space, my sister.
Yes, Uncle Byron. Thanks again for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I must say this, as you said before, there is no more middle class in Jamaica. We used to have the upper class, middle upper, middle, and the lower class. Now we have no middle class. Upper middle class is completely gone. What we have now in Jamaica is the haves and the haves not.
Yes.
Two different set of people. People who live in the aquarium who are being fed and being fattened by Andrew and his government, and the people who live in the fish pond. You understand me? So it's either you have it or you don't have it in Jamaica right now. And when you think about it, you know, Nigeria left after he was given a salary increase. Again, that let me emphasize the point that they were given the increases so that they could have an excuse to justify their illicit enrichment. Now we think about the pay structure for the civil servants. We need to re-examine that when we take over the government, because it can't be that, as you said before, they raise they increase the permanent secretaries' salary and then now use that as an excuse to increase their salary. And as you said before, Uncle Byron, all they had to do was to make sure they did not increase the permanent secretary's salary so high that they have to increase theirs even higher. But as I said before, the same thing with the DPP and the judges, it was a legal bribe because the permanent secretaries are needed by them to
Definitely.
sign off on every money that is being spent. So that is the reason why the permanent secretaries had to be given this cushion, this pillow top of comfort while the rest of us are sleeping on concrete financially. And what we need to do in the future is to make Jamaica be investor friendlier for the diaspora. And her sister Pat said it on a program, and I do agree with her statement, and I will emphasize her statement. We need to look at our Jamaicans coming back home and feel comfortable invested in Jamaica so the Jamaican money stays here. We have too many investors coming here investing and the money goes overseas. All right. When we see you made a mention about Andrew being caught in traffic using it in traffic. It was at halfway through traffic. He was actually doing it at crossroads. Uncle
Yes.
Baron. Let me correct you there. But let me show you how thin skinned are nearsighted these Jamaicans, these JLP people are. Because Andrew Holness was out there giving out these pamphlets like a Jehovah's Witness, right? Yet when Damian Crawford went to halfway tree at the stoplight with the people, youths, the young people who are actually cleaning windshield as a living, they objected and criticized Damian Crawford for doing so. Explain the difference to me, Jamaica. Labor rights, explain the difference between Andrew Holness handing out pamphlets and Damian Crawford watching and dealing with the youths at the stoplight. It makes no sense. I look at this the difference between JLPism and PNPism. Jamaicans, when they go there to vote, think on these things. They are trying to bring back the plantation system. For 9 years, we have been living under a system similar to the plantation system. The haves are the people who live in the big house and the great houses on the hill, while we, the have-nots, in the plain field, in the cane field, I should say. And I would like my Jamaican voters to recognize this. During slavery, the people who fought for end of slavery were mostly white people who went to court, who set the rules and the regulations. People like William Nibble, they were white people like him who fought against slavery. And not all white people owned slaves. Not all white people agreed with slavery. Not every white person at the time encouraged and agreed with slavery at the time. Now we have gone from that. And now what you find right now is that there are several Jamaicans on the voters list willing to sell their vote. Now let me ask these people who are going to sell their vote, how different is that from when a slave was being sold on the slavery block to a master? You are making yourself a slave to your master when you take a bribe for your vote. Again, my Jamaican voters, I'm saying this again. When you take a bribe for your vote, it's similar to you selling yourself to the person you take the bribe from. You're obligated to them. And then they can use it against you and say, I don't have to give you anything anymore because I paid for my vote. I don't have to give you roads because I paid for my vote. I don't have to give you water because I paid for my vote. I don't care about the hospitals because I paid for my vote to be here. They are cushioning themselves while you are sleeping on concrete or the dirt. So you must think on these things when you're considering your vote on September 3rd. Jamaicans, I'm happy to be part of this panel. I'm happy to be part of this program. And because this program put out truth without using gimmicks. Always honest, always the truth coming from this platform. And I yield the floor.
All right. Thank you for that, my wonderful sister Pins. And now, Melting Pot, remember, you are closing us out because we have to wrap up and then we have to be on Titan. Later will be greater. Yes, Melting Pot, the floor is yours to wrap up.
Well, you know, I am a great king, third world, first renowned superstar, the one and only Robert Nesta Marley. And I'm have a song that go like this. Until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Everywhere is war. Me say war. Yes, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance to the color of his eyes, I've got to say war. But until that day, the dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, and the rules of international morality will remain in battlefield in illusion to be pursued, but never attained. Yeah, man. So you see, if we don't get conscious in our mind, we can't attain nothing. We only have to pursue and run behind a nasty slave master like Andrew Holness. Because when we say Andrew are doing up people, it's not different from what the slave master do back in the time. Him buy people and slave them and don't pay them. So we have to conscious in our mind as when we try to, you know, criticize a Sir Jeffrey Mark Holding. Because as things to describe the same, you have to look on a William Lee, he wasn't a black man, but him fight the struggle to free and I from slavery. And remember, say, black man used to buy slave from other black man, and black man used to sell slave to white man. So it's a culminating factor. It's mind over matter where we are Jamaican now, I look for Mark Hole in our warfare, criticize him as a white man. What is there to criticize the color of your skin? Our inside of your heart and the love you have for people. I was a Mark Hole in a prime example. A troubadour, an ambassador for the poor. Not Andrew Holness. Because remember, Andrew Holness has been granted the privilege by the people of Jamaica to show in no uncertain manner his love for Jamaica. And Andrew Holness abused the privilege and turned it into his own power empire. So we now have to move away from this guy here and try to see a better soul in Sir Mark Jefferson Golden. A man, when you see him put him foot on the ground, him tried every inch and every blade of grass with the people on the ground. Him not the motorcade. Him not cock up foot like him an acrobat. Him walk the ground, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, in love and humility with the people. When you look and see the kids, how them warmly accept and appreciate Sir Marky G. When you see the old people, how them come out and want to touch this man, just to get the feel of this man, because this man really know, and them see it. So this man what them call pricky, beaten, stick, this, that. This one man I give them headache. And there is no prescription for Andrew Payne apart from prison. You retire him forever and ever. Amen and a close out.
All right.
Thank you, sir, for this
my people. Thank you for that melting pot. Thank you
heart and love.
All right. Thank you for that melting pot. Just asking the people to stay on. Let us close the show as it relates to what Ibrahim Traoré had done in turning around Burkina Faso within 2 years. And when we look and see Andrew Holness at the helm for 9 years, and putting down Jamaica into the economic abyss, I want to remind people in terms of what Ibrahim Traoré had done in 2 years. And Andrew Holness being there 9 years and coming out promising, using futuristic references to say that he's going to. He should have known, referring to what he had done. But let me just share this last clip with my people, because you deserve to know and to make comparison, to know that this government is a kleptocratic government. Look at this, my people.
On X precisely by a particular Twitter user. It says that Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traoré increases salaries of civil servants by 50% and reduces salaries for MPs, ministers, and other politicians by 30%. And this sounds so good to me, if you ask me. Every day I hear about this man, it brings so much joy to my heart because he keeps making us proud. The truth is, if we want to look at how much politicians are earning in Africa, I'm telling you, it will be enough to feed almost everybody at the same time in the whole nation. They are earning so much and doing just less. Why would you be earning so much, running into billions of naira, millions of dollars, and then your country is not even as good as what you are earning? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The country is crazy. The country doesn't make sense. But you earn, you eat this money, and you are comfortable about it. And I wonder how they sleep at night. In Nigeria, for instance, our lawmakers have wardrobe allowance. They have vehicle allowance. They have all sorts of allowance, having different orderlies attached to them, policemen here and there. By the time they are coming, one person is coming. You would think that the whole presidents in the whole world have assembled and they are on their way because there's going to be this long motorcade of human beings. And I'm like, the cost of governance is too expensive. Let us even start from there to cut costs. And every day we keep borrowing. We keep borrowing from China, borrowing from World Bank, borrowing here and there. Whereas we are not even looking inwards. Burkina Faso's president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, is increasing the salaries of civil servants by 50% and reduces that for members of parliament and ministers and politicians by 30%. That's leadership by example. Leadership by example. How many African leaders can do that? Help me. Just count them. Bring them in. If you know anybody that has done that, tell the person to just bring the person
All right,
in. Let's interrogate. Let's do our finest. Let's do our
that bit of information with you as it relates to what happened in 2 years as it relates to Ibrahim Traoré, change around Burkina Faso and look at Burkina Faso today and what, in terms of leadership quality, Ibrahim Traoré, right, reduce the parliamentarians' pay and increase civil workers' pay. What Andrew Wallace had done, increase parliamentarian pay and reduce civil workers' pay. So you are looking between the difference of good and evil. You should decide who is evil. And my people, I want to say once again, big thanks to come out and support Mystic Sensation. Love you all. Really appreciate it. Enough love. And to the panel, my distinguished panel, bless upon yourself. And all right, I am out. See you later. People, check me out on Titans later. Blessings.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right stand that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.